Yo, welcome back to Warehouse Reacts, where today we have the third track on Avenged Sevenfold's Life is But a Dream album, the kind of journey that we're continuing on. This is entitled Nobody, of course, and I think, if memory serves, that this was the first single they released from this album. The name, of all of the names on the album, this name kind of jumps out at me the most. And like I say, if I'm right, then it had the kind of weird skeleton music video thing. Like I say, I listened to it at the time, and it really kind of didn't do anything for me. I think, like I say, like I said in the last two videos, it's because it was quite weird and quite different to how I, kind of thought of Avenged Sevenfold. But now, like I say, it's 3 years later, I'm into a bit more progressive kind of music, and I'm willing to give this, a bit more of a chance. So I liked, obviously, the first, if you haven't seen the first two, tracks from this album, my reactions to them, then go check them out. But to briefly summarize, I liked both of them. Game Over kind of grew on me, and Mattel kind of hit me straight away as good tracks. But yeah, like I say, hopefully this will, do one of those two things. We'll jump straight in. This is Nobody by Avenged Sevenfold. Yeah, that I remember. This kind of whiny, distorted, bendy guitar. Sound like programmed hi-hats or something. That sounds different to the first two songs. Nice, I like the harmony. Okay, we're bass driven. Yeah, I like that. Hello, Sin. That's a sweeping kind of Exist guitar in the left ear. It sounds like brass. Okay, sorry for pausing that, but we'll go back a little bit. In the right ear, it sounded like brass, but it also sounded like it could be. I used to have this, like, I called it mini Marshall. There was like a kind of attach at your hip, clip onto your belt kind of Marshall amp, and it sounded very like kind of honky, like that, like a honky kind of sound, like brass. Weirdly, that's instantly what it reminded me of. But I'm sure it was actual brass, like a horn, some sort of horn, obviously. But yeah, I mean, so far it's as is the album. As has the album been so far, every track is different to the next, and this is, pretty wildly different from the previous two tracks. Like I say, the thing that kind of stands out to me so far is that sweeping guitar in the left ear. There was like a bass-driven part of the verse, which was quite cool, where like some guitars dropped out, or some heavy guitars dropped out, and it was just bass. Like I say, I'm kind of looking at the lyrics, but not paying too much attention to them at the same time. But yeah, I'm enjoying it so far, so let's bring it back a little bit. This thing. He's having a lot of fun. Okay. Just doing the hits on the ride, the same as the hi-hats. They also sound programmed. I don't know if it's just like perfect sounding or what. Yeah, I like that bit. The sweeps are back. And there's the horns. Sounds like could be a build-up to a breakdown, but I imagine maybe a solo. Very frantic strings. Dissonance. Lots of dissonance in the guitar. Solo, I imagine. Okay. I'll let it play out to the end because we've got 20 seconds left, but I'm definitely going to go back and listen to that guitar solo. Okay, I don't think that leads into the next song because it came to quite an abrupt stop, but we're definitely going to go back a little bit at least anyway and try and hear some of that guitar solo, and then I'll give my thoughts on it again. It's like perfectly where it was. He's like, and it's a cardinal sin to pause in the guitar solo, but I've already listened, to it once through without pausing, so I thought it would be okay. He's getting to the end of his sweep and then doing a run at the end and then coming like back up by the sounds of things. That's absolutely insane. I think the thing that I'd kind of been missing perhaps from this album so far, at least from the first two songs that I've heard, as I said in the Mattel video, was I haven't heard like a typical kind of Sin solo. And lo and behold, the next song has like, this is probably the most insane solo I've heard from Sin in a long, long time. Let's just give this another listen quickly. and this sounds like there's tapping along with it. It sounds like he's sweeping and then tapping at the end of it and then coming back down the sweep. That's... I don't know if they play the song live. I imagine they probably do. If he plays this live, then fair play. It is Sinister Gates at the end of the day, so it's not like he probably couldn't play it live. He definitely could, and probably does. But like, I'm just thinking, of the other kind of insane, Avenged solos. You have Afterlife is probably the most insane one to kind of play, the hardest one to play. If you know anything about guitar, if you attempted to play anything near that solo before, you'd kind of realize how hard it is and how kind of technical it is. Running up sweep picking kind of patterns and then going up and sliding up through sweeps and stuff. It's insane. Like MIA is another crazy one. I think this, for me at least, even on a first listen, has just kind of reached that like upper echelon already of like those two, where it's like a kind of technically, just I can't words are kind of failing me, but insane is the only thing I can keep saying. I'll have to listen to that numerous times probably. The rest of the song, hopefully it grows on me. It didn't. Game Over didn't really hit me the first time. I like parts of it, as I like parts of this song, but it didn't hit me on the first time. I think this will probably grow on me, I hope. But the solo, at least, if nothing else in this song, that I know I can, go back and listen to the solo at least. So as for the rest of the song, there are parts that I like, and parts, I'm not going to say that I dislike, but parts that, can definitely, I think, grow on me over time as I listen to it more. But we'll come back then next time for, what's the next song? We Love You. We Love You, which is, again, about 6 minutes. I think everything's about, actually, the last few tracks are very, very short. But, We Love You is up next. And then Cosmic, which I've heard nothing but good things about. So I kind of can't wait to get to Cosmic. But we'll listen to We Love You next time, and see what I think of that. So thanks for watching. That was Nobody by Avenged Sevenfold.